There's this really wealthy guy who only had but one servant and a dog which he dearly loved. And so this wealthy guy thought, I am soon dying and I can't be buried obviously with all this wealth, so I could as well give it to my servant. But then he thought he wouldn't just give it away like that. He had to put the servant through a test to see if he was equal to the task to take after his possession. And so he summoned the servant and told the servant to choose anything that he wanted from all his vast possession. But then the catch was he only had to choose one item. And so for a while, the servant was there perturbed, standing stunned, and couldn't quite choose one item. And so the wealthy man brokered a deal with him and told him, look, I'm going for a business trip, and when I come back, whatever I find you holding will be permanently yours. And even as I go, I'm leaving you under the care of my dog. Please feed it, please wash it, play with it, make sure it's in good shape and good health. And so this wealthy guy left and left the servant behind with the dog. And so the servant left behind was thinking, what should I get hold of so that when the master comes back, he'll find me holding that and that becomes automatically my possession, my prized possession. So the first thing he thought was the house. So he went to a pillar of the house and hugged it. And he thought to himself, if my master finds me hugging this pillar of the house, automatically it means the house is mine. But then he thought the house might collapse after a while. So he went to the farm and held the tractor. But then he thought the tractor might as well break down. So he said, let me think of something else. So the next thing that came to his mind was holding the huge piece of land that this master owned. And he thought, brilliant idea, because if he held the land, that means the tractor on the land, the house on the land, and everything else on the land would be his. So he thought, well, that's perfect. So the first day he woke up, went to the land, held it for a while, and he was like, well, I could as well chill and wait because, master is not coming in very soon, so let me just take my time. I could maybe anticipate when he's coming, then I can just go ahead, put my hand on the ground, and the land is mine. So days passed by, weeks passed by, months passed by, the master was not coming. So it happened that one day he felt a very weird stench coming from the house. And so he thought it could be from the kitchen. He went to the kitchen, checked the fridge, but apparently everything was okay in the fridge. So he checked the living room, the lounge area, the stench was not from there. And so it hit him that he was left under the care of the dog, which had a room upstairs. So he went upstairs, opened the door, and your guess is as good as mine. He found the dog long dead and was now rotting away. So of course he had to clean up the mess and get out, go bury the dog, and just make things right. So he held the dog in his arms and came downstairs, and just when he reached the threshold of the door, he didn't even open the door. The door was opened from outside. Guess who opened the door? You're right. The master opened the door. And you can imagine the shock that was in his face, because the argument was, when I come back, anything I find you holding will be automatically yours. And you can imagine the shock and the amazement on the servant's face when what he was holding was all but dead. And I'd like to liken this with our lives and our experience. The year has been long, we've had ups and downs, challenges here and there. But then the question is, do we still want to be holding on to what we held on to this year and carry them to the next year? Because it wouldn't make much sense holding on to dead things to the next year. It would be only but more detrimental. And so I thought, let me share with us some 5 nuggets that will help us navigate 2023 relatively easier. So the first thing that we ought to factor in the next year, 2023, is time. Because all of us, the world over, this is a known phenomenon. We all have 24 hours. The question of when you wake up in the morning, what's the first thing you do? What's the next thing you do? Is your day structured from morning to evening? Because it's important to structure your time so that you know that I'm in the right place at the right time, doing the right thing, and with the right people, because this is how progress is made. You can't make progress or any form of success without mastering or being cognizant of your time. Number 2 is your health. And health is vast here. We have the physical health and the mental health. So the question is, how many times or how often do you take care of your physical health? Do you exercise right? Do you eat right? Do you sleep right? What are your thoughts like? What are your cognitions like? Because minus this, we are again holding on to a dead health, for lack of a better word. Number 3 is our relationships. What kind of relationships do we have with our families, with our friends, with our colleagues, with our spouses, with our peers? Are they healthy? Are they toxic? And if they are toxic, what are we doing to rectify them? Okay. Number 4 is edification. Do we take time to learn new stuff? Do we take time to empower ourselves with new knowledge? The trends are different nowadays. What are we doing to stay abreast with the information? Because it's very, very vital and very important. And number 5 is experiences. So as the year begins, what do you wish to experience? What do you want to achieve for the year? Because it's 12 months, 52 weeks, and it's all on you to decide what do you want to experience for the new year. Maybe you've never gone for an activity, say like skydiving or bungee jumping, whichever activity. You are human. Get that time to, let loose a bit and just be you. So 2023 is not just about that number 2023, but 3, the acronym, the T, how do you use the time, the H, what's your health like? Yeah. The R, your relationships, are you taking care of them? The E, edification or empowerment, are you taking time to grow and develop yourself cognizantly or in terms of your mental faculties? And lastly, number 5, experiences. What is in your bucket list in terms of experiences? What do you want to experience that is new, that is fresh, that you've never done before? Think the same, and let's see how this new year turns out to be, if at all you employ those 5 nuggets I've shared with us. Till next time, God bless, happy holidays, keep safe, bye for now.